Hello, hello. Good afternoon, everyone. I am so thrilled to see all of you here today, whether you're here with us live on screen or you are watching the replay. I want to say thank you for joining this WIT Network Empowering Women series. This is the second session in the series, Leaders Who Listen Are the Leaders Everyone Wants to Follow. The title of today's training is, Do You See What I'm Saying? This is a common phrase that people say when they're trying to make sure that someone has a clear picture of what they just said. They want to make sure that you can imagine in your mind what was just said. So today we're going to unlock one of the most powerful skills for your leadership growth. Tuning in to your company's voice. Imagine this for a moment, a leader, just like you, walking into a room. She isn't carrying the loudest voice. She doesn't have the biggest title in the room, but she's paying attention. She sees things that others miss. She hears opportunities where others hear challenges. And she positions herself as exactly the person her company needs in that moment. That is what we are here to master today. I want you to commit to focusing. This is going to be about 25 minutes, and I want you to make yourself a promise. I want you to commit to just staying focused. A former boss of mine used to always say, be where your feet are. So I want to encourage you to be where your feet are. It's easy to think about other things, the next meeting, lunch, the laundry that's still in the dryer. Maybe that's me. But today, I want your commitment that you will think only about yourself and your career in this moment. And I want you to think about where you want to go next. If we are meeting for the very first time, I'm Andrea Oden, your high performance coach. And together, we're going to explore the 6 stages of your company's life cycle and align them with the 6 stages of your personal evolution. By the end of our time together, you're going to walk away with clarity, with focus, and a plan of action that will help you grow in step with your company, positioning yourself not just as a contributor, but as a visionary leader who cannot be ignored. So here's a question. What is your company saying to you right now? If that feels a little cryptic, stay with me. Every company is telling you right now what it needs to grow. Every company, whether the company is doing great, been in business for 20 years or decades, or even if the company is a new company or it's struggling, every company is constantly communicating what it needs to grow and what you need to grow with it. The real question is, are you listening? If you could decode that message and align your own leadership strengths to meet the company's exact needs, what do you think that would do for you? Not just the company, but what it would do for you personally. Here's why this matters. Companies are like living, breathing organisms. They go through clear and predictable stages in their life cycle. And you, as a leader, have your own growth cycle as well. You have your own stages of growth. The magic happens when those two align strategically. Because what every organization really needs is leadership at every stage. And when you show up ready to deliver value, your career doesn't just grow, it skyrockets. Here's what we're going to do together today. We're going to review the 6 stages of a company's life cycle, and then we're going to pair it with the 6 stages of leadership growth. And throughout, I'm going to help you identify opportunities to align your career with where the company is heading. Even small steps, when taken intentionally, can lead to huge momentum. I want to share with you how I learned to fire people. I know it's a perfect segue, right? But stay with me. I was an HR generalist, and the company was going through a reorganization. And I was assigned to help deliver some of these conversations. Now, I had never fired anybody in my life. And I didn't want to ask because I'd been with the company for almost 4 years, but I'd never fired anybody face to face. And I didn't want to, I think you're supposed to know, but I didn't. So what I did was what I do better than anybody on the planet. I researched. I read articles, I got books, and I searched TV shows and movies because that's what you do when you want to know how to do something, especially if you work in the telecommunications industry. You see how they do it in movies and on TV. And I came across this amazing movie that I still love today, and it's called Up in the Air. Let's watch a quick clip, and I want to show you how I learned to fire people.
Give it up for Ned. You can start the morning in Boston, stop in Dallas over lunch, and finish the day in San Francisco, all for the price of a T1 line. Our inflated travel budget is eviscerated by 85%. And more importantly, to you guys on the road, no more Christmases in a hotel in Tulsa, no more hours lost to weather delays. You get to come home.
Tell me you're not taking this seriously.
That's why we brought the entire company in from the road, because we're not taking this seriously.
There is a methodology to what I do. There's a reason why it works.
Coke and IBM have been doing this for years, all right? You familiar with them? And just like anything else, it's going to take a few months of sort of transition, and then everybody's going to settle in.
Who are you taking off the road?
How are you not getting this? You're grounded. Everybody's grounded. It's done.
What we do here is brutal, and it does leave people devastated, but there's a dignity to the way I do it.
It's like stabbing them in the chest instead of the back. Is that right?
You wanted to see me?
Well,
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, come on in. Come on in here.
great job.
Thank you. How's everyone taking it?
Great. Listen, I admire your zeal, and I think you have some very good ideas, but you know nothing about the realities of my industry. You can set up an iChat, but you don't know how people think.
Actually, I minored in psychology.
Nice.
Okay, kiddo, fire me.
Ryan.
Well, listen, she's gonna be doing this on a regular basis. Don't you want to know if she can fire somebody?
She just fired Ned.
My dog can fire Ned. Fire me.
You don't need to do this.
No, it's okay. I got this. Mr. Bingham, I regret to inform you that your position at this company is no longer available.
Who the hell are you?
My name is Miss Keener. I'm here today to discuss your future.
My future? The only one who could fire me is Craig Gregory.
Mr. Gregory hired me to handle this for him.
Handle what? Handle me? Mr. Gregory hired me. He's the only one who could fire me. You know what? I'm gonna go talk to him.
Mr. Bingham.
No, you can't follow me. You're on a computer screen, remember?
Right.
All right, let's try this again. Fire me again.
I just did.
Actually, you didn't. Fire me.
That's enough. I think we get it.
Mr. Bingham, I'm here today to inform you that your position is no longer available.
I'm fired.
Yes, you're fired.
Never say fired.
You've been let go.
Why?
This is a mythical situation. How could I possibly know why?
Why doesn't matter. You never know why.
It's important not to focus on the why and rather to spend your energy thinking about your future.
Well, I'm going to spend my energy on suing you unless you give me a good reason why you're firing me.
Mr. Bingham, the reason's not important.
So you're firing me without grounds. Now I really have a lawsuit.
I get what you're trying to say, Ryan.
Don't take this personally, Mr. Bingham.
Personally, this is the most personal situation that you are ever going to enter. So before you try to revolutionize my business, I'd like to know that you actually know my business.
In this movie, George Clooney's character is a corporate downsizer whose job requires him to travel all over the country, firing people on behalf of their employers. And his company has just brought in someone to pretty much downsize the company. The downsizers are now being downsized. And as I watched this movie, I realized two things. First and foremost, I learned what I wanted to learn. There is an art and a science to firing people with dignity and leaving them whole. There is an art and a science to doing it correctly and with compassion. I also learned that no matter what's going on with the company, most people, no matter the situation, never see it coming. Even when they did something wrong, they never see it coming. Just like the woman in the movie, they're trying to grow a career without knowing the company. And the way to know the company is to listen to what it's saying. Now, I don't want this to be a scary training about layoffs and company downsizing and things like that. What I want to introduce you to is the life cycle of the company. Because when you learn to listen to the company's life cycle, when you learn to pay attention to what the company is saying, you also know how to position your career to be exactly what the company needs in that exact moment. How would it feel if you knew you never had to worry because you were listening to what the company was saying? You could see what the company is saying. Let's do a quick review from our last session where we ended with the business life cycle. Every business has a life cycle that it goes through. First is the startup stage. This is the starting point where bold ideas take shape, where businesses are finding their footing. It's the stage marked by risk taking and laying the foundation for the company's future success. The next stage is the growth stage. The business gains momentum and resources are directed into expanding market reach, building the customer base, and scaling operations to sustain the growing demand. This is where the company is growing rapidly. The third stage is about maturity. At this stage, it's all about stability. The company is growing, but now the company's focus is on refining processes to be able to sustain that growth. It's about optimizing efficiency and maintaining a strong position in the marketplace. This is where the company's brand starts to become more recognizable in the marketplace. The fourth stage is called decline, and this is an inevitable phase. But for forward-thinking businesses, this is where transformation starts. This doesn't always mean that the company is failing or losing money. Actually, most of the time, it usually means that the company is doing well. They've just come out of this growth and they're maturing, but they know that if they don't do something, they won't be able to sustain this long term. This is where the company realizes that, yes, we're doing it, we've got it, but we've got to make a shift because we're not going to be able to hold this revenue. We're not going to be able to make this same revenue going forward. And if they don't do something, they might be in trouble in the future. So what do? They innovate. The next stage of innovation is all about reinventing, investing in new cutting-edge technologies, new strategies, new groundbreaking ideas designed to stay ahead of what might be coming in the industry. It's not merely about creating new products, sometimes it is, but this stage is about ensuring adaptability, making sure that the company is adapting to the ever-changing landscape of the industry and the world. Think about Blockbuster. Blockbuster, this is where they got lost in the game, refusing to innovate when streaming technology came on the scene. They didn't pay attention to the changes in the world and in their industry. And finally, the final stage is called scale and expand. And this stage focuses on strategic expansion into new markets and leveraging success for enduring impact. This stage is about expanding market reach, but the company is taking their innovative ideas and growing revenue, but they need to keep the costs flat or low. They're expanding their market reach and their customer base by adding resources. Here, the company might start to open new stores or hire more employees to meet that demand. They're developing new products, and the focus is on capturing a larger market share than the competitors. After the scale and expand stage, guess what? The company goes back to being a startup. They go back to that first stage because now, technically, they're a new company. So now let me ask you, right now, today, where is your company? Where do you think your company is? If you had to guess based on the definitions that we just reviewed, where is your company today? Type in the chat where you think your company is today. Type in the chat where you think your company is. And here's the thing, you don't have to know exactly where the company is, because sometimes as leaders inside the company, we're not privy to everything. We're not sitting in meetings with the CEO and the CFO. But if you watch, if you pay close attention, if you listen, you will see what the company is saying. So where do you think your company is right now? I see in the chat, I see maturity. Yeah, yes, great. Yes. I see innovation, growth. Yeah. And expand and scale. Great. And so you're starting to think about where the company is. And now that you know where the company is in their cycle, what about you? Every great leader weaves a story of transformation, a series of bold steps, reflective pauses, and moments of clarity that shape their unique path. And this becomes the leader's growth cycle. Just like every company has a business life cycle, every leader has a leadership growth cycle. Leadership isn't about waiting for the perfect opportunity to come to you. It's about learning the rhythm of your growth and leading with purpose right where you are. So let's find your rhythm. Here are the 6 cycles of leadership growth. Stage 1 is discovery. In this stage, you are new to leadership, new to the company, or you've recently been promoted. Stage 2 is the development stage. At this stage, you're focused on developing and expanding your skills and proving your capabilities. Stage 3 of the leadership growth cycle is that of the producer. Here, you're not just a leader in training. You're an impactful contributor whose ability to achieve results garners recognition. Here, you are a high performer who can be counted on to produce great work. Next up is stage number 4, and this is the influencer, and it's kind of like a social media influencer, because at this stage, your leadership transcends your own efforts. People look to you, not just for answers, but they look to you for vision, for clarity, and for mentorship. Your reputation makes other people want to follow you and do what you do. The next stage is that of reinvention. Every leader should know the importance of this stage. At this stage, you realize that leadership isn't static. Reinvention is where you step back, reflect, and recalibrate, getting yourself ready for the next big evolution. The final stage is that of the legacy stage. And legacy stage is where leaders leave their indelible mark. It's not about titles or climbing the corporate ladder. It's not about achievements. It's about the stories people tell about you and the lives you've touched. This is where you have your own tribe, a group of folks that you've mentored and made better, and they are following what you taught them. That is the legacy stage. So how do we align our career growth with the company's life cycle. No matter where you are in these 6 stages, rest assured, every step is essential. And each milestone builds upon the one before it. Growth doesn't happen overnight, but it does happen daily through intentional actions and bold choices. Here's the biggest takeaway. This is the meat and potatoes of our session today. From now on, I want you to think of your career and the company as 2 forces capable of lifting one another up. When your leadership actions directly support where the company is heading, promotable moments find you. Here's how you should be thinking from now on. If your company is entering the growth stage and you are at the producer stage of the leadership growth cycle, what should you be focused on? What does the company need from future leaders if they are at the growth stage? Let's look at how to align our career growth with the company's life cycle. Let's look at each one of the stages of growth, and let's talk about the key characteristics of each stage and some action steps you should be taking at each stage. Let's start first step, the discovery stage. This is your launch pad. This is the moment you realize that you have this leadership spark. And the key characteristics of the discovery stage are you are new to leadership, new to the company, or you've recently been promoted. Here, you're eager to learn, observing and absorbing from those around you. You're curious, but there's still this mix of excitement, but there's a little uncertainty there. So the action steps you should be taking at this level, if you are newly promoted, new to leadership, or new to the company, you want to begin by proactively seeking out mentorship and guidance. You want to pick your mentors to help you grow at this stage. You also want to start volunteering for stretch projects, for other assignments. Here, you want to get in and make a name for yourself with your new title. The goal here is to step outside of your comfort zone and expand your new leadership foundation. The next stage is the development stage. Here, growth accelerates. You're stretching, building, and realizing your potential through challenges. Here, you're learning the business at a new level. Your view of the company gets bigger. You see things at that next level. Here, you're building your core skills, getting feedback, and refining your leadership. You're frequently asked to help with projects. If you are at the development stage, the action steps you want to take is embracing new challenges, especially when it's uncomfortable. Here is where you take that constructive feedback and put it into action, because now it's starting to shape your growth at the next level. Here you want to focus on consistency, showing up in a consistent way time and time again, because small wins add up to really big impact. Next up is the producer stage. Here, your leadership is visible. Your results speak for you. You've become a go-to problem solver who delivers with excellence. The key characteristics of a producer are you are known for high performance. You've built a strong track record of consistently performing at a higher level. You're taking on projects. You know how to do the job well, but now you want to focus on doing it better at a higher level. At this level, the steps you should be taking are all around visibility. Here, you want to be able to show and share your contributions. You want to make your work visible to decision makers. At this stage, the producer is ready to take ownership of outcomes, aligning your goals with the company's direction. This is where you strategically position yourself as a resource others can rely on. The producer stage is where most people get promoted, but it's also where a lot of people get stuck. They're high performers producing excellent work, but the focus is on production and not showcasing. They're good at producing results, but where they miss the mark is the action steps. They're not able to show and share their contributions and make their work visible to decision makers, which leads us to the next stage. That is the stage of the influencer. Here, your leadership lifts others. It's about shaping strategy, mentoring future leaders, and guiding teams through complexity. As an influencer, you are often sought out for advice. You're a trusted advisor to many. At this stage, you are literally shaping the culture and influencing broader decisions. You're mentoring your peers at this level, and you're guiding collaborative wins. If you find yourself at the influencer level, the action steps you should take starts with investing in up-and-coming talent. Create space for others to shine. Expand your influence beyond your immediate teams or departments. Here, you're going to start volunteering to serve. You can start volunteering to serve within the WIC network. You raise your hand for projects, networking events. You might even volunteer for some of the company's ERG projects. At this level, when you speak in meetings, people pay attention. Where you go, others want to go. People are looking to you to see how you're going to handle it. And how you handle it is how they handle it. That's what an influencer does. An influencer shapes cultures and drives the organization forward. The next stage is the reinvention stage. Here, you realize that leadership is a moving target. Reinvention is where you envision your next chapter and courageously pivot. The key characteristics that you're entering the reinvention stage is you're starting to feel ready for new challenges, new roles, or a higher level of impact. Here is where you start reflecting on what you've accomplished, but also on what comes next. When it's time for reinvention, you want to start investing in yourself. Invest in your own growth. This stage is about learning and growing. This is where you're taking classes, where you're trying to really grow to the next level. Here you seek out roles and opportunities that will stretch your perspective and stretch your abilities. You start to think about the legacy you want to leave. Now let me pause for a quick commercial break. How do you know when it's time to reinvent yourself? Yes, sometimes you feel that pull. You start wanting more and you start wanting to do something different. But sometimes the company forces you to reinvent yourself. Why? Because the company reinvents itself. I saw this a lot when I was at Comcast when Xfinity Mobile first launched. I saw a lot of people resting on their past, on what they knew before. I'm great at selling internet. I'm great at helping customers select the right packages. I'm great at Xfinity Home. Why do I need to sell that? I just need to do more of this. Let the new people do that. And not realizing that the company was reinventing itself. And if you stay a producer of old products that the company is not pouring money into and pouring resources into, guess what? If the company reinvents itself, starts to go in a different direction, and you don't, if you stay the same, you will be lost in the shuffle. Now, back to your regularly scheduled programming. The final stage is the legacy stage. This is where your leadership goes beyond your immediate sphere. This is where your leadership causes ripple effects that outlast you. This is the playground of legends. The key characteristics here and how you know that you're approaching the legacy stage is when your influence reaches across and beyond the organization. This is where others credit you as their mentor and the culture shaper. Here, you're devoted to empowering the next wave of leaders. At the legacy stage, you begin to transform from being a doer to a visionary. Here is where you start building systems and traditions for the future. You're mentoring generously, sharing your wisdom and your story widely. Here is where you cultivate a leadership tribe, a group of folks that carry out your values and your vision to the next level. They take it forward and they credit you for their journey. Legacy is the setup for your next big move. Now, this isn't about retirement or being a certain age. It's not at all. Think about Oprah. When Oprah left her talk show, now she's in legacy stage. She's still doing great things, just from a different lens. She's no longer worried about climbing, and now she's creating a legacy for future generations to point to her. Think about Beyonce. It's not an accident that her mom's new book came out just as her tour was kicking off. It's no accident that her mother and father appeared together on a stage talking about the book and the tour. It's strategically planned. That's legacy. Legacy is about pointing to the future. It's reminding people of the past, but pointing to the future. In the next phase of Beyonce's career, it's all about her legacy, her family, past and future. That's why we're seeing her kids on tour. See, legacy isn't about retiring or being of a certain age, getting old. It's about creating a future for yourself that others drive forward for you. Here, you're planting seeds for the future. And it's a bold move. You're not still climbing. At the legacy level, you have arrived, and everybody knows. So where are you in your leadership growth cycle? I want you to type in the chat and tell me where you believe you are right now in the growth cycle. And it doesn't matter how long you've been at the company. Where are you today? Are you at the discovery stage? Are you at the development stage? Maybe you're a producer, or you're an influencer. Perhaps you're at the reinvention stage. Where are you? Oh, I see it. I see a developer right there. Yes, producer in the house. Yes. It's good that you know where you are. It's good. Yes, an influencer / reinvention. I love that, because that's true. You can be in one space and another space, because here's the truth. This is not about how long you've been at the company or how long you've been in the role. 3 years ago, I was at the legacy level. I was at the legacy stage, enjoying life, building new leaders, and really making sure my story was being told the way I wanted it told, to make sure that I was leaving a legacy that would last beyond me. I was living a great life. But then I started a business and found myself with the title of CEO. And guess what? I went back to the discovery stage. Right now, today, I am in the discovery stage because I am learning how to be a CEO. I am learning and discovering how to be a business owner. So that takes me right back to the discovery stage. Doesn't wipe away everything I've done. It's taken me to the next level. I hit reinvention and hit legacy. And then I found myself having to start again as a CEO. So it doesn't matter that you've been in leadership 20 years. You could still be at the discovery stage, and it's okay. And like someone else put in that they were at the influencer / reinvention, you could be both. You could actually be an influencer who's developing, right? Because I'm great at what I do, but I'm also learning something new. Now that you know where you are, and you also know where the company is, it's time for a little homework. Before we wrap up, here's what I hope you'll take away from today's session. Growing your career isn't about waiting for the right moment. It's not about waiting for someone to tap you on the shoulder and hand you a job. It's about creating alignment where your goals meet the company's needs. I'm going to give you some homework. Following this training, you're going to receive a link to an ebook. And this ebook will walk you through a lot of what we talked about here today. But I also have a challenge for you. My challenge for you today is to start putting together a 6-month action plan for your own growth strategy. What can you do to start listening to the company? One thing I used to do to make sure that I was listening to the company is I had a Google alert set to deliver articles about Comcast directly into my inbox. And I read every article, and I was always ready. Even if you're not in the big meetings with the CEO and the CFO, you can still listen to what the company is saying. Listen to what the company is saying to its investors, what the company is saying to its customers, what the company is saying in the stock market. And once you know, then it's time to decide what you can do, what actions you can take to grow in a way that positions you right where the company needs you next. The best thing about growth is no matter what the company does, you will always have what it takes to succeed. So my last question before we end our time together is, what's one action step you can take as a result of what you've learned today? I want you to share it in the chat, but I want you to do a deeper dive. Figure out what you can do to listen to the company and grow your career as the company is growing and changing. One of the ways you can do that is to stay close to the WIC network. Here, you will find trainings like this. You'll find leaders who want to come alongside you and help you grow. You'll find mentoring programs, leadership development programs, everything you need to grow your career to that next level. My challenge to you is don't get stagnant. Don't get stuck as a producer. Don't get stuck as an influencer. When it's time to reinvent, reinvent. When you hit the legacy stage, know that it's not over. It's just getting better. I want to challenge you to study, to read books, take some quick classes. Everything doesn't have to be, a 12-month degree program or 2 years. There's some really great classes out there, great podcasts that help give you a different perspective. One question I always ask leaders is what they're reading. Whenever I'm in a room with leaders who have a bigger title than me, who've been in the game longer than me, I always ask, what's your favorite leadership book? I ask, what are you reading right now? Because it lets me know what they're up to. It lets me know where they're going, where the company is going. Your leaders are reading and listening to podcasts and articles because they know their company. Now, it's your turn to know your company. It's no surprise what any company is doing. You can find out what every company is doing by reading articles, watching their stock, and what's happening in the industry. The best thing about growth is no matter what the company does, you will always have what it takes to succeed. So my challenge is to put together your own growth strategy. What 1 or 2 things can you commit to doing that will help you listen to where your company is going and position yourself to be exactly what the company needs next? I'm Coach Andrea Oden, and it has been my honor to serve you today. As we end our time together, I want to say thank you for your time today. The WIC Network in Chicago are truly some of my favorite leaders. So as we open it up for questions, I want to remind you that you are fabulous. You are great. You are the leader the world has been waiting for. I'm Coach Andrea Oden, and I will see you soon.